Hey, welcome back to Snapbolt Games. My name is Max, and we are here with a special video. We are recording live on Twitch, and we're going to be talking about the top five commons from the new Innistrad Midnight Hunt set for Pauper. So I'm pretty stoked to get into this one. So what we're going to do here, we're going to go over the top five commons. I actually have one honorable mention as well. And then we're going to play a Pauper League after this. On YouTube, that'll be a separate video, but on this Twitch stream, it's gonna be all right now. So let's get right into this. First, let me say, Innistrad Midnight Hunt. This set seems pretty sick. Like the power level seems pretty high. Not necessarily specifically for Pauper, but just in general. Like the set seems like it's gonna be a lot of fun to draft. So yeah, I'm stoked. And hey, thanks for showing up, everyone. This is gonna be fun. So yeah, the set seems like powerful compared to at least the last two sets. And it seems like it has a lot of fun mechanics, a lot of fun cards. And without further ado, let's just go right into the first honorable mention. I really wanted to cut it down to top five, but I felt like between five and six, they both weren't great. And I couldn't decide like what to put as number five and what as number six. So I just went with one as number six, honorable mention, and then we have our top five commons. Um, so, number six, essentially, honorable mention, we have Search Party Captain. This card's a sweet one. 4 mana, 2/2, creature, human soldier. This spell costs one less to cast if you attack with a creature this turn, or for each creature you attacked with this turn. Very different. When Search Party Captain enters the battlefield, draw a card. So, kind of what I see for this card is potentially playing it in either like a Soul Sisters type deck or like a mono white aggro type deck. Yeah, let's not do this update. Um, and just the ability to potentially have a 1 mana 2/2 draw card seems strong. And yeah, maybe Boros Bully as well, but it just seems like it's like pretty decent value. It's not that hard to make it cost 2 mana, and once you get it down to costing 1 mana, it's pretty good. And even at 3 mana, it's not that bad. So even if you just like attack with like one Squadron Hawk and then you play like essentially a Llanowar Visionary in white, this seems pretty decent to me. And again, once you get it down to 1 mana, like let's say you go like turn two Hawk, turn three Hawk, attack with both, and I guess that's two, but once you get it down to 2 or 1 mana, it becomes very good because 2 mana 2/2 draw card is strong, and 1 mana 2/2 draw card it seems really good. And worst case, like if they're killing all your creatures, you can still just cycle, have another body, which is really good for a deck that might want to anthem or pump all its creatures. I don't know if those decks are that good. That's kind of why it's down towards the bottom, but it is like a cool white card that kind of provides card advantage and gets you on board and everything. So number six, Search Party Captain. It seems sweet, but not sure it's going to be quite as good as the other ones. Okay, now let's get into the actual top five. Number five, we have Geistwave. 2 mana, one blue, one colorless, instant. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. If you controlled that permanent, draw a card. This just seems like a reasonable sideboard option for a lot of the blue decks, kind of in the same slot where Echoing Truth would be. And I know a lot of people like Echoing Truth. I actually don't like it that much. I know we were just in like a squirrel city, but I actually don't love Echoing Truth. And I could see this being a replacement in some decks because in the blue mirrors, or again, if you're bringing it against like certain decks like the Pestilence decks, a lot of times when you bring in Echoing Truth, you just end up like bounce your own spell stutter sprite in response to a removal spell or something like that. Um, so this has some sweet applications. Plus, it's really good with Journey to Nowhere. You can even like combo with that, like Journey, trigger on the stack, bounce it back to your hand, draw a card, do stuff like that. So there is some sweet uses of Geistwave. I don't think it's really that great, and Echoing Truth might be the better sideboard card overall. But this is still interesting and something to consider. So I think it makes the top five list. I guess before we move on, I just want to say real quick, it just with these top five Pauper lists, you got to keep in mind that generally a normal set is not going to have like five commons that greatly impact Pauper because there's been so many commons printed, and especially a long time ago, that were so strong. Like you have to compete with Ponder and Preordain and these really strong cards. So it's pretty tough to make a top five list and have them all be massively impactful in the format. But again, as a sideboard card, it's an option. It's reasonable. I don't think it's that great, but it could see some play. And that's kind of the same thing with Search Party Captain. I think this one might be a little bit better, along with the new Unicorn and those type of decks. This card could see some play, and this card again could be an option in the sideboard. I don't know if it's better than Echoing Truth, but it's an option. It's an option. Okay, little rant there, and then let's just get right on down the list. Okay, number 4, what do we got? Homestead Courage. This card goes in my least favorite deck, which I have not played. This goes in Mono White Heroic, the Menace. 1 white mana, sorcery, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It gains vigilance till end of turn. And then it also has flashback for 1 white. So it goes specifically in the Mono White Heroic deck. I don't think it really goes anywhere else, but it actually seems pretty decent in that deck. I think it is good enough there because the vigilance is actually pretty good in that deck, and for any heroic creature like the 0/4 that gets a counter, if you just have this card like on turn 2, you just spend 1 card and you get +4/+4 and vigilance that turn. And it just seems pretty strong. You can like separate the counters. It's good against counter spells because of the flashback. Like if you're worried about spell stutter sprite, you just go Homestead Courage and they're like, okay, sprite it, and then you're like, okay, play it again. And then you get double heroic trigger, you get the counters. Just seems pretty strong. So yep, number 4, Homestead Courage. I don't think it goes anywhere else. Like I don't think it's playable in basically any other deck. But yep, seems like it could slot into that deck. Again, it's hard to find commons to fill out all the top 5 slots that will actually have a huge impact. But I've seen some people talking about this one. This could do something. So pretty sweet. And let's just move right down the list. Let's go number 3. Let's keep this video relatively short. Number 3, this one I actually think could see some play, and I'm excited to brew with it when it comes out. Number 3, Festival Crasher. 1 red, 1 colorless, creature devil. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Festival Crasher gets +2/+0 till end of turn, 1/3. So what card does this remind you of? Obviously Kiln Fiend. Kiln Fiend is 2 mana, 1/2. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, +3/+0. So Kiln Fiend is obviously the better version of this card, but now the Pauper decks, you could build the Kiln Fiend decks and you could have essentially 8 Kiln Fiends. Yes, this is the worst one, but yeah, exactly. Another great card for Is It Blitz. But you're saying Is It Blitz, but you could just be mono red Blitz now. That's the whole thing. I think that's why this becomes better, because it's possible even to maybe build some type of Galvanic Relay deck and just play 4 Kiln Fiend, 4 Festival Crasher, and then you get to play all mountains. Because one of the weaknesses of Is It Blitz was the mana. They played like sometimes 2 Evolving Wilds, like 9 islands, 5 mountains. That's just a terrible mana base. But now that you have like 8 red 2-drops that can potentially kill, with relative ease, it seems sweet. So I'm excited to try like the 8 Kiln Fiend mono red. I don't know if Relay is going to go in the deck or what, but there's a lot of like red cards that give haste. You can play those. And it seems like with Festival Crasher plus like another Festival Crasher or +1 Kiln Fiend, you can kill like really fast without many spells. So I don't know. It seems strong. Like seems like it could be an archetype. The problem again with that deck is the removal in Pauper is just so strong with like Scred, Bolt, and then even Black now has Snuff Out, which is seeing just so much play. 0 mana removal spell. So that's the problem with these decks. But again, maybe some type of Galvanic Relay shell because you're a mono red deck. You're really fast. So especially if you're like playing rituals and card draw, Manamorphose, maybe you're red ritualing, like you can get these out quick. So I'm really excited to brew around this plus Kiln Fiend and see what I can do. Because again, +2/+0, you can still kill relatively easily, especially if you're giving it like double strike with Temur Battle Rage or something like that. It doesn't take that much. Plus, Lightning Bolts. There's a lot of good red cards you can just go face. So Festival Crasher seems like a sweet one. Lava Dart, it's a favorite of mine. So watch out for this guy. Crazy Pumpkinhead over here. Okay, now let's go to one I'm actually really excited about. Number 2 on the list. I saw this card late. I think it came out late in the spoilers, or I saw it late, and I was like, holy shit, this is like a new type of card that we haven't seen before, and that's Ardent Elementalist. 4 mana, 1 red, 3 colorless, creature human shaman, 2/1. When it enters the battlefield, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. So this is just Archaeomancer as a red card, but it only costs single red. So I could see this slotting in a lot of decks over Archaeomancer, or like certain decks like, I've seen people talking about Grixis Familiars because you can reduce the cost of red on this card as well, in addition to your blue spells. It's just like with is it Nightscape Familiar that does that? I think it is. Um, but yeah, just being a red Archaeomancer seems really dope. Like you can even do stuff like if you're like a green and red deck or like a Naya deck, you can have like Ephemerate, and now you can have this card. And this is like, yeah, you have Revolutionist. I think that's a MH2 card. It's like a 7 mana 3/3 with Madness 4 that has this ability. But now you can just play a 4 mana 2/1. 2/1 is so much better than 1/2 because it actually provides a clock. So if you are, some type of control or counterspell deck, and you have this can actually just like put a clock on the opponent where Archaeomancer can't really. Yes, Archaeomancer can block things sometimes better than this can, but I think this is a better card than Archaeomancer overall, and I'm excited to play with it. Like, it seems sweet in some cleansing wildfire setups. It just seems like can go in like a lot of different things. So I'm really excited to brew around this one too. It's like there's actually cards that like I'm stoked to try out, and especially with a couple bands, the Chatterstorm band specifically. So we'll see. And our boy gamer asks, are we going to see a Wedrite or Jeskai Evoke Brew? Probably not, and that's because Molly D just too strong. Like you can't leave Molly D on the sideboard. So maybe this slots into Jeskai over Archaeomancer with Cleansing Wildfire or something like that. But probably doubtful on the red white Evoke Brew. I can't talk. Okay, now let's go. Can you all predict what number one will be? I don't think you can predict. Number one, best common for Pauper from Innistrad are these basic lands. These lands are so sick. Like, I think I'm going to be picking these up. I don't know how you get these or if they just come in packs like the regular lands, but this art, I like it actually. I like how it's like really dark and then it has the color highlight. These are so sick. This is definitely the number one card. Well, these are going to see a lot of play, at least from me. So, yeah, this is the number one card from Innistrad. Hopefully that's not a cop out, but yeah, these five basics are sick, and I can't wait to pick this up. Especially this island. Look at this island. Hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. This island is so sick. Like this dude standing on the cliffs. He's some type of mage, like waves crashing. Just this art style is so cool, and they go really well together. Like I'm probably going to be picking up 20 of each of these and jamming, but we actually do have a top one. That was kind of a joke, but I just wanted to shout these out because I thought these were really sick, and like the swamp with the purple is actually like pretty dope. I like all of these actually. Like they're all really cool. But actually, I do have a real number one, and maybe you can guess it. It's Consider. This card, it has a lot to compete with. It has a long way to go because it has to compete with Ponder, Preordain, and Brainstorm. But it's so much better than Opt. It's one blue instant. Look at the top card of your library. You may put that into your graveyard. So it's 1 mana, Surveil, draw a card. And that's so much better than Opt. Yeah, this card is sick. Like any deck where you care about the graveyard, it's just gonna be so good. You can play this alongside Thought Scour, especially if you're like some type of like delve deck with like Gurmag Anglers. I think this slots in really nicely because Thought Scour, I think, honestly might be the more powerful card overall. But with this, you get the option to surveil it into your graveyard or not. So you can cast these in the dark, like where Thought Scour, you might mill the card you need. Yeah, that happens. With this, you won't. Yes, you don't fill up your graveyard as fast if you have to keep it on top, but you have the option. So you always have the choice, and that makes it better. It's really good with Brainstorm because you can always just, again, put like a Frantic Inventory on top, consider, put the Frantic Inventory in the graveyard, and this just seems sweet. I don't know exactly where it's going to slot in or actually how much play it will end up seeing, but it seems like it could go into, a fair amount of decks, especially if more Graveyard Matter decks come out. It's just another nice option to consider for a cantrip in the blue decks, because now you have so many good options. Ponder, Preordain, Brainstorm. You're not Opt didn't really see any play, but I think this is a lot better than Opt, especially again if you care about the graveyard. I do think this matters, and I think this is just the best card from the set, like for Pauper by a lot. Yeah, maybe like Ardent Elementalist ends up seeing more play, or maybe a Festival Crasher deck ends up being good, but I still think this is just like the strongest card overall. Seems really sweet. Not sure exactly what it will do yet, but I mean, I guess that's true for all these cards. So I actually can't wait for this set to come out. I'm stoked. Let's quickly, considering it for Serpentine Curve, yeah, that's a decent option as well. Let's quickly go over the entire list again, and then we'll wrap it up here. Quick video. So honorable mention again, Search Party Captain, kind of like on the same level as Geistwave. I don't know if either or both, or neither. Basically, any option of these are going to see any play at all. But they're both reasonable. I kind of wanted to talk about both of them. So we have them here. Search Party Captain, number 6. Number 5, Geistwave. Homestead Courage, the Menace. Number 4. Number 3, Festival Crasher. This card seems sweet. I can't wait to like just play a league in 30 minutes with this. Oh yeah. That's a good point. Agnical, I don't know how to say your name, but yeah, if you're like a mono blue flash deck, then consider definitely gets better. But number 3, Festival Crasher. Number 2, Ardent Elementalist. This is sweet. This is just something that Red has never had before. So there's a lot of decks, like even if you're a non-blue deck, this is a sweet option. And even if you are a blue deck, I think this is going to end up being better than Archaeomancer and stuff like that. Yeah, this card is crazy. I saw this card, I was like, whoa, can't wait to brew with this. I don't think in Tron it's as good as Mnemonic Wall, because Tron doesn't really care about 1 mana. It actually is better at the producing the blue mana, and Mnemonic Wall doesn't die to Bolt, which actually is seeing play now that the format's a little more reasonable. So I don't think this is going to be as good as in Tron, but in maybe like the mid-range green or red or Naya, even Jeskai decks, I think this is the best option. So yeah, that'll see some play. These lands are dope. Don't forget about these lands. Pick these up if you're interested. This art is just great. Shout out to all these artists. And then number 1, consider. This card seems sweet. I'll probably be brewing with it. Again, I don't know, like I don't have like a vision in mind where I would play Consider over Ponder or Preordain or Brainstorm. But again, maybe if I'm playing Blue-Black Reanimator, I can play 4 Thought Scour, 4 Consider, and then this card can do something. And maybe if I'm a Your Mag Angler deck, I can play this. Maybe if I'm a Frantic Inventory or Serpentine Curve deck. So there's a lot of options to consider when you want to jam this card. And that is my top 5 commons from Innistrad for Pauper. It's a pretty sweet list. Let me know if there's any other cards you're thinking of that you've thought should be on this list, or any cards on here that definitely shouldn't be on here. I'm looking at these 2, but again, it's kind of hard to fill out the entirety of a top 5. But thank you so much for watching. We're going to continue here on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/SnapballGames. We're going to continue here with a Pauper League in just a second. This video will be wrapped up on YouTube. And until next time, thanks so much. Peace.